how to structure profitable Facebook ad campaigns, and how do you go from being a total beginner to an expert in one video training. That's right. In this video right now, I'm going to walk you through how do you build it and structure the entire campaign and what really differentiate winning campaigns from losing ones. Hey, this is Peng Joon here, and in the last couple of years, I've spent literally millions of dollars from my own pocket running Facebook ads, and I'm gonna walk you through the different mistakes that I make, common mistakes that other people make, so that you don't make them, so that you can do it yourself or implement it for somebody else. And I'm gonna be showing you why understanding these techniques here in this video is gonna be one of the most profitable moves that you will ever make when it comes to running Facebook ads. Now, to begin, I'm gonna walk you through what most people do, okay? What most people do is they run an ad. This could be in the form of video, could be an image, and then they run this ad targeting audiences that they feel might be interested in their product, their solution, their offer. But the problem is, most of the time, people are not aware, they're not problem aware, or they're not solution aware, and they don't even know that you exist. And the problem when you do that, it's kind of think of it as, when do people look at ads? When they're scrolling through Facebook, when they're sitting in their toilet doing this, right? Literally. And all of a sudden, they don't know who you are, your ad pops up. Now, if there's no goodwill established beforehand, chances are people will not buy from you. But what if, rather than starting with the hook, or the going straight for the kill, what if you started off by building a relationship? For example, let's take a random example. Let's say you are a speaker trainer and you teach people speaking. What if you created a video on your Facebook page that says 5 tips on how to overcome your fear of speaking, right? And you put this video up there, and then guess what happens? Nothing happens. You probably get 2 likes, your mom and your dad, nobody's looking at it, and you wonder, why is it not working? Here's why. It's because it's right now a pay-to-play game. So what if you put this video up and you spend $50 or $100 boosting it for views, and you're telling Facebook, show this video to people that might be interested in this topic. So now you're targeting people who like public speaking, people like Tony Robbins, people who like Toastmasters, and all these different organizations, celebrities who might be related to that field. And out of, say, spending $50 for simplicity purposes, let's just take a round number of 10K views, okay? So let's say by spending this amount, you get 10,000 views. Now, a view is basically, Facebook considers as somebody who watched a video for 3 seconds, which means nothing really. So the next thing that you're going to do after you boost it for video views to target people that might be interested in the topic, the next thing you do is you create this thing inside Facebook called a custom audience. What it is really is you're telling Facebook, help me create an audience of people that might have watched about 25%, 50% of this video. Okay, so now you're gonna create a custom audience of people that has watched 25% of this video, and let's say Facebook comes back and tells you that this video, at least 1,000 people watched 25% of this video. So now you have a 1,000 people that knows who you are because you've established a relationship with them, you've given them value. Now these 1,000 people are actually targeted. This is where you run an ad to no longer a cold audience, people who don't know who you exist, but rather a warm audience, people who have watched your videos in the past, they know who you are, and now you are sending this ad and sending this group of people to your sales process, to your funnel. If you don't know what a funnel is or sales process, I'm going to be showing you some examples over here. But one of the best ways to create funnels really easily without being a programmer, a designer, or coder is by using ClickFunnels. One of the things that I've actually done as well is I've created some pre-built funnels for you. The links are below if you want to get and start with a free trial for ClickFunnels as well as get my pre-built templates. Then just look at the description box below. But basically, one of the best ways to build a funnel is by having a sales process in place. So let's take, for example, a funnel like a webinar funnel, right? A webinar funnel might consist of a few different steps. Let's take a more complicated one with more steps, okay? So let's say it's a webinar funnel, and the first step of the funnel is where you get people to register. Now this is where the real money is. What if I told you that the real money is never in targeting, but in retargeting. Now, what is retargeting? Retargeting is basically this. Have you ever noticed that when you're surfing online, there seems to be these ads that seems to follow you everywhere? Now, the reason why these ads is constantly seeing them everywhere is not because the advertiser is overly aggressive, but it's because at one point in time, you either visited their site or you liked, commented, or shared one of their posts, and now they are targeting you. That is why, what they call, they've got you pixeled. That's the term for it. What if you took your ad and you sent them to your sales process, to your funnel? Not to a website, because that's where money will die, but rather to a sales process. Okay, you want to send them to a funnel. So what does this ad say? So for example, this ad would say something along the lines of, hey, this is Peng Joon here, and I noticed that you watched my video on how to overcome the fear of speaking. Is turning your message into a career something you've always wanted to do? If so, come and join me for this upcoming webinar that I'm doing soon. So whatever it is, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to send them to some sort of funnel, gets them to enter their name and email. So after that, let's think about that sales process. If it's a webinar funnel, the next step of the funnel, after you get them to register, is basically sending them to like a confirmation page, right? A thank you page. Now this is where the magic happens. This is where on Facebook ads, you go to custom audience again, and you create a custom audience based on each of these different scenarios. What does this mean? First question, do you think it's possible that a person lands on the webinar page but does not register? 100%, right? Let's say 100 people, from running these ads to a group of 1,000 people. For simplicity purpose again, let's say 100 people land on your registration page. You probably agree that not all 100 will register. Let's say you have a 50% conversion and 50% of people register for the webinar, right? So right now you would have 50 people that would have been on this page. So what if you could run an ad for people in between these two steps, which is came to the registration page but did not register, right? How do you do this? This is when you go to Facebook, you go to custom audiences, and based on website traffic, if they came to this page but they did not land on this page, help me create a custom audience, and I could call this custom audience visited webinar but did not register. Would you say that's a pretty fair description? Think about what is the next step of the funnel. Do you think it's possible that they registered for the webinar but they didn't wait for the countdown timer to end and they didn't show up? What if only, again, 50% show up for the webinar? That means you would have 25 people on this step. And again, what if you could run an ad to this group of people in between these two steps that says, hey, this is Peng Joon here, and I noticed that you registered for the webinar, but you did not show up. What happened? I was looking out for you and I didn't see you there. Now, you know what's gonna happen? This is absolutely gonna freak them out. Now, I want you to notice so far why this thing is powerful. It is because the audience sizes here, as you're building this up, is going to be really small, and your message is laser focused. You're not trying to reach millions of people, and this is where you could spend like $10,000 a day. But now it's really small, specific audiences each step of the funnel. Think about it. What is the next step of the funnel after this? Probably you might offer something at the end of the webinar, and on the webinar, you might send them to some sort of checkout page. Let's say, again, 10 people reach this page. And again, do you think all people that go to the checkout page will take out their credit cards? You probably know this as well. No, right? So let's say that would be, I don't know, 3 people. If you take a look at all these steps, these gaps in between over here is where the money is, okay? If you can run ads to the people over here, now these are the hot audiences. Have you ever seen screenshots from other marketers boasting how they're making 10x, 20x, 30x returns on their ads? Those ads that gets you 10, 20, 30 returns, I guarantee you, is not from here. It is not from targeting. It is from retargeting hot audiences. It is the people that been to the webinar but did not check out. Now this ad over here, what do you think this ad could say? This ad would be something along the lines of, hey, I noticed that you attended the webinar and somehow you didn't take the leap of faith to invest in whatever it is that I offered. Now over here, this is when I can take a testimonial-based ad. People raving about the product, program, service, or whatever it is that you offer. Now this is where this makes sense. Now, I want you to notice the common mistake most people make. What do? They take this testimonial-based ad and they put it here. What is this? This is basically running to a cold audience, to millions of people. And again, I want you to imagine, when do people see this? They see this when they're sitting in their toilet bowls, doing this, right? And if they see this testimonial-based ad, and they don't know who you are, and they're not problem aware, they're not solution aware, do you think they care about what this is? No, because there's a huge disconnect. They don't know who you are, they don't know what the product is, and then all of a sudden there's this testimonial-based ad. Testimonial-based ads are super powerful for people who abandon checkout. They landed on a page, but they didn't buy, right? I want you to start listing out the different steps in your sales process, in your funnels, and now start tracking and creating audiences for each different audience every step of the sales process, because this is where the money is. Again, the money is in retargeting, not in targeting. So finally, you might be thinking, so Peng Joon, how do I track whether they've been on these pages or not? How does Facebook actually know? Well, first of all, before I tell you what the answer is, quick plug for my channel. If you like videos like this, go ahead and click on subscribe to be notified for more videos like this in future. I'll wait 3 seconds. Go ahead, do it right now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. So next thing, right? How does Facebook actually know? It's basically through this thing called Pixels, okay? Now, the way to install your Pixels is super easy. You go to Facebook, you go to events, you look for this thing that says Pixels, click on setup, click on install code manually, myself, okay? Look for that and literally just copy and paste. And this is where you literally take the box of code and paste it inside the settings, inside ClickFunnels. Now again, this could be on ClickFunnels, which is basically the platform I use, but this could be on whatever platform you use. Now, once you paste the pixels in there, this pixel now goes on to every step of your sales process, okay? I want you to start thinking, if you kind of summarize this entire thing, over here, this is when you start giving value first. Nobody sees this video because it's a pay-to-play game. Think about who are the people that would benefit from this content, boost it, so that now people are problem aware, they're solution aware, they know who you are, right? Give them something that is informative, that's entertaining, that is educational. Build up this audience, send an ad to the sales process, create a custom audience for every second step of the way, and understand that the money is in the retargeting, not the targeting. Hey, this is Peng Joon here, and this is literally how you build a profitable Facebook ad campaign, which is what most people are not doing right now. Let me know what your biggest takeaway is in the video below. And as always, if you like this video, click on subscribe for future videos like this one.